Yes. So ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that you're serving your 6-month contract abroad, far away from your family, from the place you call home, and you're working together with 1,000 people like you who come from 50 different nations and from all over the world's different religions. Ladies and gentlemen, you're working on a cruise ship. Welcome on board. Let's talk a little bit about the cruise industry itself. As you can see on this diagram, about 24.7 million passengers travel each year worldwide. This number is increased to raise up to above 27 million for the year 2018. And this industry generates $126 billion total output worldwide. So we're talking about a really big industry. And through this maritime industry and the cruise ship industry, I will introduce you my topic, the blueprint for regulating religion in the workplace. Let's talk about the international maritime law a little bit. It's a really complex set of laws which regulates the employment of people when they would like to work on a ship, or like more specifically on a cruise ship, as we are going to talk about this. The most important for us is going to be the MLC, which is the Maritime Labor Convention, which has been designed in 2006 and ratified as well in the same year by the International Maritime Organization, which is the part of the International Work Organization of the United Nations. It's ratified in Switzerland, and it regulates the employment conditions and all different other topics, how a person could be employed and could work on a cruise ship. Yeah, as you see, like all different parts of flight are being talked about during an employment process. So as I always say, that there is no topic which is not being talked about when one would like to work on a cruise ship and when he gets to sign his work contract. Let's look about the composition of a crew of a cruise ship. I took an example of the AIDA Luna, which is a German cruise ship, mostly with German passengers, but it doesn't really matter like for the composition of the crew members. As you can see, you can find like over 50 different nationalities, and all major religions on the world are represented. In the cruise ship, it's really interesting because there are no exact statistics about the religious composition of each crew or about all the people who work in the maritime industry. But we suppose that the most people come from China, India, the Philippines, Russia, and Ukraine, among those who work on the cruise ships. Yeah, so there is a big space for tensions between different religions, between different cultures to occur. But anyhow, it never occurs. It's not a topic over there. And you're going to be working together with somebody for 6 months, and you won't even know what his religion is because it doesn't even appear. You know, unless you ask and he tells you, nobody will know about it. And that's a thing which is interesting in this environment. Let's see, wait a sec. Yes. Let's talk about the life conditions a little bit and how does it compare to practicing a religion. As today the topic is like radical Islam in the workplace, we'll look at it from the aspect of Islam a little bit. First of all, like to religious practices. Let's talk about, for example, prayer on a cruise ship. There's a crew cabin. Next to it, the bathroom. Both of that for 2 people, they will have a living space of about 75 square feet. That's the minimum ratified by the maritime law. Sometimes it can happen that 2 people from a different religion will be put into the same cabin. That might be even that their countries are at war at the time of their employment. But the contracts they all sign prevent any kind of religious or cultural discrimination or tensions to occur. And the laws and the regulations on a cruise ship, they are really strict. And if somebody even says a bad thing, drops the N-bomb or anything on a cruise ship, can be sent home the next day. The HR is not going to be like hearing, it's going to be a hearing, but as soon as this N-bomb is dropped, for example, the person will know that he will be sent home. Even if it was just in the crew bar, two people who are a little bit more tipsy and they have a small debate. I experienced that during my career. One of the guys said to a girl colleague with Asian background. They were friends, but they had a small argument. Somebody overheard that conversation, and even that the girl forgave him. The guy was sent home the next day, or the next port, because it was on the sea before a sea day, so he had to stay a couple of more days on board. So it's really, really strictly regulated. On the topic of prayer, as you see, respectfully, it couldn't really be done at a space like this, as the cruise ship will not always face to a direction which faces to Mecca, and the crew member might not be happy about the cabin mate performing any kind of religious activities. We jump a little bit, and let's talk about living together for these many religions on the same environment. This is the crew mess of the German ship AIDA Prima. They launched it a couple of years ago. And if a number of the members of a certain religion requires it, these companies will provide food for this specific religion or nationality. It's really important on the ship as the people work hard. They work 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's really important that the company does this specific favor for the crew members. And it also helps the people to taste the food of different other cultures. If, for example, there's Ramadan and there is night food in the crew mess, everybody is really welcome to join the Muslim colleagues and eat with them. There's going to be halal food served. And that's the same for every religious holidays. It really helps to boost the morale of the employees on the ship. Crew areas provide the same benefits for all, and they shouldn't really be used for religious activities. If somebody's performing some religious activity in a common crew area, also risks being sent home, because with practicing his religion in public might disturb other people, and if that's the case, the person can be sent home as well. For that kind of thing, if he is new, he might receive just a warning, but in a working environment where for being 1 minute late and being 3 times 1 minute late, one can be sent home, people will not be trying to attempt to perform this thing because they are against the code of conduct of most of the cruise companies. Yes, this is a crew bar. Just imagine with your eyes that you have some Muslim crew members, for example, who would like to perform a prayer in one corner. Then right next to it, you have the Indian colleagues celebrating the Indian Independence Day. Right next to it, there would be a Christian church, and the other corner, the German employees were celebrating Oktoberfest. Yeah, as you can see, it's not really working out together. That's why it's really limited, that all of these activities which might disturb the others, they'd be performed in the private cabin areas, if the cabin mate is agreeing with that. Yes. And what do we do as a conclusion of all those? If we ratify, if we are starting with the hiring process, if we're diligent enough, if we specify the duties on board, the life description, the job description, what is going to be performed, required, and done during these contract is served, then we can achieve that the company philosophy is going to be the philosophy and let's say the new religion of all those employees working for these companies. And no religious disturbances or clashes will we have the chance to occur between crew members. And that's a really interesting thing to see at these companies. We're talking about the most ancient working environment in the world. Ships have been present for tens of thousands of years, and they were always like a mixed culture. And we can learn a lot from this environment where all of these laws, these habits, standards, codes evolved with the millennia, and which function really well, and you won't really see any religious clashes, disturbances, or anything like that from those working environments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to me to talk to you about religion at the sea.
Thank you, Zoltán. I found that presentation fascinating because it shows that you can solve the problem quite easily if you restore the authority of the employer and oblige the workforce to respect the code of conduct that they accepted when they were hired. It's a ready-made solution that can solve all of the problems that we're speaking about today.